time for all your binge-worthy pop culture news. Welcome to Up and Adam.
Hi, guys. Welcome back. And we have a lot to talk about when it comes to 90 Day Fiancé The Other Way. This has been one hell of a season already, but I'm not mad at it because Happily Ever After was kind of like a big dumpster fire. So with that, obviously you guys know that I can't always do this on my own. I love to bring on other content creators and people who I just enjoy having a conversation with because we share a difference of opinions, and that's what this is all about. Guys, if you haven't already, go ahead, smash that like button, show some love. If you're not subscribed to my channel, get subscribed. Down with Jason, get subscribed. And Kimpire, get subscribed. Without further ado, let's bring them up. What's up, Kimpire?
Hey, good morning. Good afternoon. Ooh.
Oh, yeah. That's the second time he did that today, guys.
hey, okay.
And right, so it begins. All right. And then also, good morning.
Hey, guys. How are you?
Now you're doing it to me.
What am I doing to you?
No, not you. I mean, I could go down the list, but not right now. Yeah, I like, do you see how Kimpire has his Steven wave?
I love it.
All right. So we all watched this episode last night, and it still is continuing to grab our attention. I know that we were going back and forth, Kimpire, and we're talking about whether or not we think this will continue to hold, I guess, our interest. How did you feel about the episode? And if you had to rate it 1 to 10, what would you give it?
It was a solid episode. You know, like you said, 90 Day Fiancé and 90 Day Fiancé Happily Ever After really, really sucked. But so far, these very first 2 episodes, I'm interested. This last episode sort of was like a transition. We got to see Armando and Kenny, and why was I tearing up again? Every time. So I'm enjoying it so far, but we'll see middle of the season. It's only episode 2.
It's only episode 2. Jason?
I thought it was also a solid episode. And again, I haven't enjoyed, I think, 90 Day in a while. And I'm really liking this. I do prefer The Other Way, though, because I really like to go see them in their own countries and in their own environments. And I think it's a lot of fun. God, we have so much to talk about.
We have so much to talk about. You know,
so much.
And one of the things that I said last week with Kimpire is I've come on here and I've been doing these lives for a long time when it comes to 90 Day. And I hear from people who don't live in the United States necessarily, or even if they do and they're from different countries, that they feel like TLC doesn't necessarily portray their country or their religion or whatever it is in the best light. And when we were sitting on the couch the other day watching this, Jason, I don't know if I want to say got frustrated, but you kind of were like, oh no, they're going to make this whole Mormon thing look really bad. This Mormon religion, I don't want to say Mormon thing, but Mormon religion looks really bad. And
you know, I said that the first week. Are we talking about him now?
Yeah, we can just jump right in, guys. We can jump right in, guys. We're talking about Steven and Alina.
Yeah, you know, the first episode, I was like, oh wow, they're gonna actually show a real Mormon family, not like the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City Mormon family, which, you know, I don't really know how Mormon they are, but I was kind of interested, and I was hoping they would show it in not such a crazy light, but it's just too crazy. Like, even as a former Mormon, this is crazy. He's
Steven?
Insane. Yes. Not in a bad way. He's great TV, but he's just, I don't know. I want to hear what Kimpire has to think first, because I have something.
Oh, this is Kimpire's guy. Go ahead.
I know.
Steven with a V.
Steven with a V.
I you know, he's great TV. He doesn't seem like he would harm a fly, even though he's had premarital sex. He revealed that was his big secret. I thought it was going to be something creepier or weirder, but no, he's fallen short of his religion. But I do have a lot of questions, and we were asking these questions last week of you, Jason, in regards to the religion and what's expected. Because he's done that, how come, you know, he's not banished from the church for that?
No, I mean, the law of chastity in the Mormon religion is taken very seriously, of course. I guess there could be ways around it. But just the way he was talking, even when he was talking to Alina and calling her Moonlight and Cupcake, and I'm going to have separate apartments, for me, my flags are going way off. I don't know about you, Kimpire. I don't know who he's had sexual relations with. And that's what I really, really want to know next week. I don't know. That my flags went off. You know, I've had a girlfriend. I was Mormon. I wanted separate living areas. You know, I'll say anything, all the words, the cupcake, my sunset, my cherry on top. Like, you know what I mean? I'm really, really curious.
I'm like, disaster, asshole. What happened to cupcake and all of that? Okay. No, actually, Kempire, I don't know if you caught this, and maybe we'll have to go back and revisit the scene, but when he's talking about how he has something to share, he said that he's had premarital sex, but then also he said some of which the church may approve and some which they wouldn't. And then that's what made Jason say what he just said.
Oh, I completely missed that part. Wow.
Yeah.
So, which obviously there's nothing bad with that about that, but you're dealing with a religion and it does make you question. And when he said, this is where I had red flags too. When he said, I want us to go to Turkey, to where, somewhere that neither one of us are from, because that's what we have to do right now. In a perfect world, I'd go to Russia, but then you're going to live in this apartment, which is much, nicer than the hostel that I'll be living in. I'm thinking you're taking this young girl out of Russia, bringing her to a country that she knows nothing about from what we can see. And then you're sticking her in an apartment by herself. I think that's absolute bull.
In a foreign country.
And you think of being separated in two different apartments is going to make you resist that temptation? I mean, you know what I mean? Just because you're not sleeping in the same quarters, you don't think that you might want to sleep with each other anyway. It's really strange to me. I can't wrap my head around it.
Well, I can't wrap my head around what you said before. I'm like, I kind of thought it before, but I was like, sometimes gay guys, we think everyone's gay.
Right. Okay.
Yes. Where's gaydar? My gaydar is broken. I was talking to my dad about this the other day. He's like, did you know so-and-so was, and I was like, no, not at all. He's like, the hell's wrong with you? Your gaydar is like out of whack. I'm like, you didn't know I was gay, so.
Oh. Well, there are a lot of people that you would never expect, okay? But Stephen with a V is not one of them. But I don't know. But the red flag for me definitely was the whole separate rooms and the whole, because of the religion. I mean, you're talking about the first night you can sleep on the couch. Well, you could do that going forward. And the temptation shouldn't be that big of a temptation if you're that, hardcore when it comes to your religion.
Absolutely.
Well, and I also want to chime in on this too, because I had a girlfriend in high school and her parents were totally okay. She was an only child and we were together for almost 2 years. And her parents would be like, yeah, Brittany can sleep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Britney Spears can sleep over at your house and it doesn't matter. It's not a big deal. And I would always say, no, I just want to treat you like the princess that you are. And I don't want to have that temptation. And all reality, I would go home and be like, whoof, another day with a girlfriend. Like she feels great. That's perfect. And I don't have to do anything. This is fantastic, And all of her friends would be like, he's gay. There's not, what is going on?
God.
But I didn't have religion to kind of fall back on, because if you came over to my house, my family, we were just wild, and there was no falling back on that. So for him, Jason, is that common? Like, have you had a lot of, obviously not everyone in the Mormon religion, would be part of the LGBTQIA plus community, but did you have a few friends that would kind of act the same way?
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. I don't want to say who they are, but for sure. It's easy to hide behind the religion a little bit. But I just see a lot of like similarities in like how I would act. And when, again, that flag went off for me was when some the church would approve of, some wouldn't. I'm not really sure what that meant.
Exactly. What would that mean?
I don't know. Nowadays there are a lot of LGBTQI plus the whole community.
David Archuleta,
that are some, yeah, exactly. There are some members of the church, I have friends who are friends with the Salt Lake City housewife, Whitney, who are gay. They still practice. They're still in church. And that was a kind of an incredible conversation I had with them. How do you hold your faith with something that goes against everything that you're living? But yeah, it's a very, when you're raised in religion, and when you're raised in a religion that is so strict, there are so many rules and laws of like this one, the law of chastity, that you feel guilty sometimes, just for doing anything. So he's probably just taking all the precautions he thinks he should take in order to stay away from that temptation with Alina, who, yeah.
What does the church say now, though? Because you said that people that are part of the community that are still within the church. Are they a little bit more accepting nowadays?
I want to say it's mixed messaging, because I've heard different things. I'm not involved anymore in it. Some people, it's very welcome. Some people are very, very welcomed, like my friends in Utah. Their bishop, who is the leader of the church, wants them to come to church because he wants to change that perception, but then some people aren't as open to it. It's like with any religion, you do have a more conservative Mormons, you have more liberal Mormons who you want to be a little more progressive, but it's still mixed messaging.
Well, I have a question about this, because Alina's family in Russia, they have concerns, the mom and the grandmother, because they've only met Stephen for a short period of time. And like she said, they're unorthodox over there. There's only one religion that they practice, and they look at the Mormon church, the Mormon religion, as a cult. Like, they're out here and they're involved in every scandal. And Alina kind of shut them down right away and said, don't believe the media. That's all BS. But growing up, did you have a lot of people who looked at you and your family, and I didn't even ask you this, but as like a cult?
No, but I mean, of course, that is very... that's a popular thought of the Mormon religion. It can, I feel like all religion can be semi-cult like, but yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
No one looked at us like that, but I could see how that would be a thing.
And
Okay.
around the world, different religions, and I think I spoke about this last week, Jehovah's Witnesses are viewed almost like a cult. It depends on the country. In the United States, maybe not so much, but definitely in certain countries, they are not only looked at as a cult, but they're treated by the government as one.
Right. Too, it's funny. We always had this joke growing up in my house. When someone knocked on the door, we said, "Is it the Mormons or the Jehovah's Witness?" Because didn't they go to door as well?
Yep.
If I'm not mistaken,
Yep.
Similar to what our missionaries or the Mormon missionaries used to do or do now.
They definitely do. They definitely do.
Well, I have a question. I'm going to gear this one towards you, Kempire. If you had to guess, how do you think this relationship is going to play out? I know it's super early on in the season, but do you think Stephen and Alina will end up together? And I'm actually very surprised at how open she was to exploring the church. So before we move on to the next couple, I just want to hit you with that question.
Yeah, I look, people get married and divorced all the time. So they might get married and maybe be together for a couple of years, and then he'll come out, and then we'll be revisiting that told you so.
You just went from one extreme to the other. Now he's coming out.
Just saying. I mean, I literally missed that little most important part of what he said. I missed, and that makes such a big difference. So, I mean, I kind of thought it, but like I said, I try to put that in the back of my mind. I'm like, oh, not everyone's gay, Kim.
No, right.
Yeah. Actually, well. No, I'll share it real quick. Jason and I were at breakfast the other day, and this guy was sitting there with his wife, and you could totally, the way that his mannerisms, the way he was talking, the way that he was looking around. And then when she got up and went to the bathroom, and he was I was just watching wandering eyes, and I was like, I think that, and Jason's like, that's so annoying, because that's like the bad, perception that we get being, if you're a gay man or a gay woman, that you just think everyone's gay, and that if they're not, that they could be turned. And I was like, that is not how I feel at all. I don't think that. My gaydar is off. I just am like on with this one. And then all of a sudden Jason looked over and he goes, oh shit, okay, I'll give you that.
No, listen, some of my straight friends are the most flamboyant people you've ever met, and there's nothing gay about them except they're flamboyant. But you know what I mean? Like, that's, you never know nowadays, and I don't think it's a good thing to judge, but watching this episode, I was just like, oh, I just had a flag go off, and I don't know if it's going to be true or not. So I guess only time will tell.
All right.
I guess we'll find out if he reveals, oh, I've been with men before. If that's part of his secret.
And I don't know if Alina is going to be up for that.
And maybe he's bisexual.
No, because in Russia, that is still not accepted. I mean, you're already watching what Kenny and Armando are going through in Mexico with certain, places, and there are some great places where, our community thrives down in Mexico. But in Russia, it is a very, it's very
Russia.
cold. Absolutely. When I was touring with Cirque du Soleil and we were coming up to our Moscow stop, we had the choice. If you were of color or you were gay, you could sit out of that tour stop, because, and I don't, it's just, I guess it's still behind. I don't know, but that was something that was offered to us on tour. It's just like, you don't have to go.
Wow.
But
okay. All right. Well, let's go ahead and move on to the next couple, guys. If you haven't already, go ahead, smash that like button, show some love. I did the thumbnail about Ariela and Biniyam because this situation, I don't know how you were feeling, Kempire, but Jason and I were watching this on the couch like, this is all wrong. Red flags all over it. I'm not buying it. This would never play out in our house. Kempire, if you were in a relationship and you're now married and the person who you're with says, my ex husband is coming in town and, there wasn't any real reason that we broke up, but that's my best friend and wants to come in town. So he's going to stay with us for a while. And then he shows up and brings you like a G-string and like a couple boxers, stuff like that. Stuff like that. Like, how are we feeling? Because this is awkward as hell.
Well, first off, they are not married yet. She's still a single woman. So anything can happen while he's there. No, it is awkward, but we also have to remember she's living in Ethiopia. The things that, because when we saw the preview, I was like, why is he bringing her broad? She needs it. So, and it's hard to find those things there.
Okay, yeah, so that wasn't something, the bra thing wasn't something that actually made me cringe. It was just everything else.
Yeah.
It was just how she was dressing up. She had to get her nails done. I was so on Binyam's team for that. I was like, what are you doing, girl?
Forgetting the ring.
She wants him to be jealous.
Listen, and not that you can't say that, of course, exes can be your friends. I don't have any exes who could be my friends because they're all, complete idiots. But like, this just is like, this is weird. Like, this would never happen. If Adam had an ex, and he brought him around, that it wouldn't work for me.
I brought Brittany around. We went to
like an ex, like a real ex.
Okay. All right. Well, this was an awkward moment for me. After they showed up, from her dressing a different way to forgetting her ring in the shower, Biniyam letting us know that the ring was less than $1. That was kind of a shock to me, but I'm not, again, this is Ethiopia. So I'm not, it's the symbol of it, really. I saw a few fan comments where people were like, that's so cheap and below her. And I'm like, no, it's not. It's Ethiopia. And that's what he could afford. And he doesn't look at it like I need to get her a big yellow canary diamond. He's like, this is a symbol of my love. Yeah. But that got me. And then this got me. When she starts crying in the conversation with her ex-husband and she's like letting him know or asking him, were you hurt when I left? And I'm so sorry I did that to you. And he's like, it's okay. I wasn't mad, or I was mad for a second. And Biniyam's just looking like, what the hell?
Like, what the hell? I would have gotten up and left. I'd be like, bye, bitch.
Yeah,
I can't.
She is a producer's dream, okay?
Right.
Well, anything else would have been like, okay, it would have been boring if it was like hunky-dory. It's not. And I like that she's really leaning into, we could have worked out, but she wants Venom to be jealous. She wants that.
That's the way she felt when he was staying out so late, working in the club or dancing or singing, whatever he does. Maybe that's just her way of kind of
getting back, retaliation.
Getting back.
Yeah. Well, and we saw in the first episode that during COVID, Biniyam did not have a job, but yet he was still disappearing throughout the night. He was staying out all night. And Kempire, you might be onto something. This might be kind of a tit for tat situation, but as we all know, that doesn't play out very well at the end of the day. We do also know that Biniyam had a fight, like an actual, Angela Deem showed up and a bunch of people were supporting him, and Ariela, she was there too. So I'm guessing that they're still very much together, and we're seeing them on Instagram. So I guess this didn't totally rift their relationship, but there are a lot of red flags. And for me, this would not fly. I'm going to go around the room really quick and just we know what Jason thinks. Kempire, would this fly? Would you let the ex into your house and touch your baby?
I don't know. Maybe it really depends on the situation. If it played out the way that this is playing out, we would have a problem. We would have a problem. But if I knew that the relationship was like very casual, they've been friends for a very long time, because people go through things. I think the mature thing to do, if you can, is to be able to remain friends with someone you shared some really, really important moments in your life, depending on the relationship. Quite too often we break up and then we never see those people again. I think that's weird, even though I do pretend that.
Oh, that's fantastic. I love to throw it away, erase, clean slate.
Okay. All right. Well, no, that's very mature of you, Kempire. So I'm here for it.
I mean, it's not happening in my real life, but I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Ideally.
Ideally. Okay. All right, guys. We're gonna go ahead and keep it moving. Again, if you haven't hit that like button, make sure you do. I want to take it to the next couple because this just looks like a disaster waiting to happen. Even more red flags. I feel so bad for this poor woman. Let's bring up Ellie.
Oh.
This woman, she just wants so bad to be loved. I feel so bad for her. Real quick, Ghostly Gamer, beautiful panel. Love and miss you all. Thank you so much for the super chat, Ghostly Gamer. I feel so bad for this woman, Ellie. She's giving up her whole life. Her friends are like, what are you doing? It just seems, can I call it a disaster? Or no, we don't know yet.
Yeah. And also, yeah, you're giving up your thriving business, especially during the pandemic. Like, applause for you. That's amazing. And you're going to go live in a hut? That's what I don't understand.
It's not just the hut. Like, for that, I could understand that because love makes you do crazy things. I just don't understand.
It doesn't make me live in the hut. I'm not sorry.
Listen, I could live in the hut, I think, but I just don't think
you couldn't. You absolutely couldn't.
You don't know my life.
Spoiled. Yes, I do know your life, actually. And you would never survive in it. You couldn't even, we lived in a really nice house in Thailand. You're like, this is so third world. And I'm like, no, it's not.
I was 20.
Right. Okay.
It was my first out of country experience. Okay. Anyways, getting back to it. I didn't come here to get roasted. I'm starting to, Ghostly Gamer, you might like this panel, but I'm starting to reconsider. No, I think that's not the red flag for me here. The red flag is the fact that she's sending him over money, $5,000 over to where he lives. That money, I've never been to Colombia, but I would think that would go a little bit further to where it would be more of an upgraded hut at least, right? And that's the red flag for me, the sending over the money, and then also the cheating. You cheating, and then when she asks you if the woman still lives in Colombia and you're like, no, she's long gone. I'm not buying anything that's coming out of his mouth because when he smiles, this is a good looking man. And when he's smiling in your face, he's so charming. And he has like a way when he gives you the eyes. And I'm like, oh, I see why she's like smitten with him. I can see that it's easy. So no, I'm not buying what you're selling. I'm not Ellie, so I don't have to buy your shit. And I'm not buying it.
I mean, he probably put it on Ellie, and Ellie is just, for lack of a better word, hypnotized by whatever's going on down there. And Ellie's been through a lot. I love her story. She opened up episode 1. It's a very dramatic story. She's been through a lot. She's giving up her life. I really hope she's not truly giving up her business like that to move to Providencia. But people do crazy things. She's also at a certain point in her life. She's like, you know what? I need to try this out. I lost the love of my life. This might be another love of my life. She called him her soulmate. And yes, he cheated on her. But look, it works for our television program.
It worked for our television program, but is it going?
That is a win.
Okay. So that part, yes, I'll give to both of you. But before we move on from Ellie, when she's sitting there, her friends obviously have concerns. She wants love, but she has, I think, it's almost like the grass is greener on the other side, that kind of perception or thought process, because I feel like she's going to get there. She's going to be very lonely. He's going to still have that idea of like, I'm the man, you're the woman. I'm going to, at night, I need to go hang out with the guys. I need to do this, go make some friends. And then she's going to realize at home, she had a totally different kind of love and stable relationship or relationships. And she didn't need this, especially not someone who right out of the gate is committing infidelity. That is the one big, that is no.
I also think too, from this could be part of her journey of recovering. I mean, not every day. It's not like her husband, that passed away was this awful person. He was taken away. you know, so this could be part of her recovery from that. And maybe she needs to go on this journey to realize what she has and what she has built. And maybe that's why her business was so successful, is because she put all of her energy into that. Maybe it's just part of her emotional healing. I don't know.
But I didn't mean to cut you off, but I was just going to say,
no.
I also don't understand, though, when it comes to a lot of these people who move from their countries to another country and just blindly giving up their businesses and things that it's taken them so long to work for. And she has success in her business. Why not try it out for 3 months? Go for 3 months and see what happens. You know, hire a manager who is sufficient enough to run that business. Give him some incentive. I'll give you 5%.
She has a business partner.
Right.
She could do that.
She's giving more of the percentage to the business partner. I think she's either not telling us the whole truth, or she's selling out, or she's selling the majority of her company. Either way, though, if this doesn't work out, what is she coming back to?
Yeah. I mean, look, she has a really great group of friends. We see friends on these reality shows all the time, and we're like, who are these people? But it seems as if Ellie has some really solid friends that care about her. And I feel that, even through the screen, you could tell that these people really want the best for her, and they're worried for her. I don't believe that she's giving up her business, because I don't think that Ellie is dumb, because that would be a dumb move. Ellie, if you're listening right now, I think that would.
She's also listening to her friends too. You know, she said, I'm not taking what my friends say with a grain of salt. She's listening. She's hearing what they have to say. So I feel like she might get it a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we're going to go ahead and move on to the next couple. This was a couple I was excited to see on camera. At first, I was wondering, what will they actually have to bring this season? I was questioning the storyline, but then as soon as I saw their baby girl and just the situation, I was like, oh man, I love this couple, because they're just their dynamic is really interesting. And the fact that he left everything in Florida, he left his whole family, his grandbaby, to move to Mexico and be with Armando and her daughter. And now she's teaching him Spanish. He's teaching her English. I really like this couple. They get you. And I think Kempire said he cried.
I did. Well, I was on the verge of crying every time they come on, and I'm always mad at Kenny for crying. But every time they tell their story, maybe because it's relatable in a way, especially when it comes out to your coming out story and being in another country and not being accepted, and that whole process, and them talking to their wedding planners that happen to be gay as well, and that struggle. It's very relatable. I wasn't sure how I would feel about them coming back, because it's relatable and they're a sweet couple, but sometimes it can be a little boring.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think that, the wedding planning, I feel like Kenneth and Armando have two totally different ideas of how to deal with finances, I think. And I feel like Kenneth is a lot more reserved because he's no longer working. And Armando is like, okay, well, I have a sugar daddy here. Let's go spend some money. And
daddy.
Yeah, every time we turn around and we see this couple talking about the wedding, Armando's raising the stakes. He was like, 100 people. And then they sit down with the wedding planners, which they sought out gay wedding planners, so they were more comfortable. That was interesting to me. But then, they asked him how many people, and then Armando says 200. And then Kenneth says no more than 200. And Armando looks at him and goes, we'll see. I'm like, if your family's not supportive of you, who the hell's coming to this wedding, Armando?
I love how he just throws an extra 100 there.
Yeah.
When they sit down, it was 100 people when they, when they were sitting in the room. Then it's like 200 people when they're sitting in front of the planners. So that's funny.
He's a bridezilla. Let him have his day. This is his first. Well, no, this will be his second wedding. Calm down, Armando.
Yeah, calm down, Armando. Yeah. For anybody in the room too, this is my question for you guys, because I never understood. Jason and I, we have friends, and I'm sure all of you guys do in Kempire, friends who have spent a lot of money on their weddings, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 to 6 figures on their weddings, which they're beautiful, but this lasts a night, maybe even 2-3 days. And then I've had other friends who have said, I'm just going to have a small ceremony, maybe spend like 5-10 grand, have just the family there, and use the rest of that money to put it into a property or an investment or set us up for the future. I never understood the idea of a huge wedding, because I'm thinking you are just throwing so much money down the toilet, but also I'm the frugal one. So I think about it like that. I wouldn't even.
Adam told me I can only have 2 guests. So
Okay.
First, we got to get Adam down the aisle before we talk about the actual
I
spending.
will make sure he's asleep. I will sign the papers. I'll have someone witness it. It's not going to
This
be
is
a
on
problem.
camera, so I'm safe
It
now.
won't be a
Brandon.
problem.
You already said it. But I wouldn't even personally be able to enjoy my wedding if I knew that I was spending 50 to 100 grand on it. It blows my mind that these people, like, I would have no fun. Jason can tell you, even when we went on a vacation, not going to say where, but we went on a vacation one time, and it was mostly paid for because we won it on the Ellen show. And then the other stuff that you had to pay for was just like your food, your drinks, your airfare. And even that was so expensive at the time for us that I was like, I'm not enjoying this. He's like, we're in a tropical paradise. I'm like, I'm just thinking about money. I can't like
Always. Always.
Well, here's the thing. When you have a lot of money and you don't have that sort of relationship with money, you're not thinking about that. You're like, you know what? This is an important day in my life. Money comes and go. It always comes back. So if it's something that you really want, and it is one day, but it's a day that you're going to remember for the rest of your life. So it really depends on you. If I'm sure
he just said he was going to drug me. I'm not going to remember that.
With that said, some of the most enjoyable weddings I've been to have been small. Mm-hmm. The budget hasn't been huge. It's a small ceremony. I've been to some gigantic ones. I went with a friend. This friend was invited to this big wedding in New York. I'm not really sure the bride knew her or me. And we're sitting here, we're eating one of your meals. I was just invited as a +1, and I don't know. I wouldn't want to pay for hundreds of people to come eat and drink and celebrate me for what? I don't know you.
Well, that's very typical of American weddings. But if you go to like some traditional weddings, if you go to an Indian wedding, it means something very different. It's extravagant, but you see the symbolism behind why they're doing a 3-day wedding. So right. It really depends. And like I said, it depends on the couple. Simple, it works for certain couples. Extravagant works for others.
Yeah, I would be taking Jason to the courtyard of our complex and being like, all right, friend.
I'll just take you to the courthouse, and we don't even have to do that.
Oh. Okay.
The courthouse can be very romantic too.
Calm down.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's keep it moving to the next couple, because this is not the only thing that we're talking about at the moment. We also have Corey and Evelyn.
Ugh.
Okay. This kind of blew my mind a little bit, because Evelyn seems like, first of all, Evelyn doesn't even seem, we talked about this, Kempire, she doesn't even seem like she likes his ass at all. Like, we're not even getting the vibe that she likes him. And then I feel like this was a plan, very strategic, so I give her credit, to hire the most expensive wedding planner you can in Ecuador, right? In Ecuador. Mm-hmm. Hire the most expensive wedding planner that you can to be like, oh, well, you can't afford it? Sorry, I guess we don't have to get married. What? How is it $50,000-$60,000 in it? I haven't been to Ecuador, so I'm not.
This relationship has been cursed from the beginning. I would not get married. Yes, she hates him. I now I hate him too, and I don't know why. That's how much she hates him. So I just think that needs to, I don't know. Do
you think when the cameras go that she will go?
Oh my God. Well, I mean, that part.
That's a good question.
Here's the thing. I'm on her side. He wants this wedding. He's been saying that he wanted to get married. She said multiple times she doesn't want to get married. Don't ask someone to get married if you can't afford to get married. He had the thought, oh, it's going to cost about $5,000. It doesn't cost $5,000 here in the States if you want at least a decent wedding. So,
well, he said it did for his family.
Well, maybe where he's from, and I would like to see pictures from that wedding. But, but yeah, my thing is, don't ask someone to get married if you're not willing to, because you don't know what she's gonna want.
I was kind of dying a little bit inside when he looks at her and says, Evelyn, maybe you confront a little bit of the money, and she's like, what? We don't do that here. And I was like, oh, Corey, you tried. It was good. It was a good try, but she just literally laughed in your face and was like, cute. No, not happening.
Do you think they're going to make it down the aisle?
No.
Yeah, I'm going to say no.
I'm going to say no. And I think that she grew up, and I don't know what triggers her about this, because she grew up, and from what we can tell, as a very loving home where the parents were together her whole life, and her siblings don't feel the same way she does, but she feels very strongly like, this is not something that I've ever wanted. I don't want to be married. She's okay with being in a relationship, but she doesn't want to take it to that next level. And, looking at it, I feel like so many people have different perspectives because of things that may trigger them and they've seen in the past. So they're like, either no, like, I want to be in a relationship for the rest of my life, but I don't want to be married because I've seen where that goes as soon as you sign that piece of paper. Or other people are like, my parents were together for 40 years. They got married after knowing each other for 6 months. That's what we need to do. Let's do it. I've seen both. No. So for her, if she really believes, these are her like core strong beliefs, like, and
I think the true test will come to when we see what the sisters are going to say. The sisters are very opinionated about this. I mean, as I would be as a sibling, I don't know if she'll take it to heart or if she just wants to move forward with this wedding. It's going to be really interesting to see.
See, I wouldn't take my siblings being opinionated about it. I would probably stick them with like a face palm and be like, bye. That's one less plate I have to pay for. And Jason can attest to that. I'd be like,
I'd probably be the same way. I'm not really taking my siblings' advice in regards to my relationships because I'll look at them like, what about yours? But with that being said, though, I think the fact that she does not want to get married and she's doing it for him, she's going to resent him. She already hates him. So can you imagine that layer of resentment? I wonder if
you have to do the work before. You have to let go of that. You have to forgive. If that's something you want to do and you want to move forward and you want to stay in the relationship, you have to work on that forgiveness and you cannot jump into a marriage with all of that baggage. It's just going to carry through. It doesn't go away. It really doesn't.
Yeah, no, I agree. And, this isn't the only couple, again, that just, there's been so much hurt. There's been so many lies, myths, truths. Lies. I'm going to go with lies. There have been so many lies. I have to talk about this couple because I just get so pissed watching them. I do. I feel so bad for her. And for him, I'm like, you shady little snake in the grass. Well, Jenny and Samit.
Oh, Lord.
This couple just drives me insane. And now the fact that, he ends up dragging her to a place to talk to somebody about, what are our options? Well, one, you can give up your American citizenship and all of the benefits that you've worked your whole life for. That's one option. Or option A. Or option B, I don't want to say it wrong. It was
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Wow. Yeah, Hare Krishna. You would have to partake in Hare Krishna where you learn the chants and you go around and you help spread the story of their God who's like a superhero, like Samit said. And I don't know enough about it, so I'm not going to comment too much on that. But it just blows my mind that these are her options when this woman has put her whole life on hold for you. You lied to her in the beginning. You said that you completely catfished her. Then you lied to her 3 other times saying that you were going to marry her. She always goes back home and she has to do the walk of shame when she gets off the airplane and sees her daughter, and her daughter's like, oh, he didn't marry you again. What are we doing?
Jenny needs to listen. Just seeing her blow up. It was at the end of last week's episode, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where she blew up and had this. I mean, she's stressed, she's frustrated. But Jenny, you're also old. Like, you need calm. You need to go back to Palm Springs. Sounds amazing.
Older.
You know what I mean?
She's not
go
old.
Older. But, okay, but like, I would go home, be with your grandchildren. I didn't know she had grandchildren. She has, a beautiful daughter. Go home. But go to Palm Springs. Enjoy the sun.
No, I get Jenny's perspective. She doesn't want to give up on love. This is somebody she's very in love with me.
It's weird.
Into the stick. It's only weird.
No, it's not love. You were catfished into a relationship, and you still had that feeling of of seeing that picture and talking to him. So you I feel like she kind of sees that when she hears him, and I don't know.
Oh my God, I'm still looking for Michael Jones myself.
You remembered his name, but not some of the cast members?
Priorities.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Okay.
I feel for Jenny. However, marriage is a serious thing. We have to take into consideration that for Submit, he doesn't want to just marry her because of the legality. He wants to marry her because it means something. He's a hopeless romantic.
No, he's a hopeless con artist.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I feel bad for Jenny. I feel like this is, she's worked so hard her whole life, like she said. She has her benefits and she has her I'm just be around your family. There is someone for you. It's just you're spending so much time with this situation, stressing out. Flying back and forth to India is not an easy feat. I used to fly back and forth to Japan 5 times a year. It's not easy. And
to be clear, so people don't think you're some bougie ass.
No, I mean, it was for work. But, I wish her the best. I just wish she didn't have to deal with all of the stresses that,
Look at Tina Turner. Tina Turner gave up her American citizenship for the love of her life. If it's good for Tina, it's good for Jenny.
But was he willing to marry her?
Okay. Hold on.
You're married.
Have you been to Switzerland? Do you have Tina Turner's money? Yeah, it's great for Tina. It's fantastic.
Oh, look, I didn't even realize that was an option. I might do that for a European passport.
You're going to
priorities.
All right. Well, and dear Dana, I agree with this. Submit made her think he loves her.
I think they love each other, though. I mean, Submit's a little shaky. I do think that they do love each other. This is 10 years. 10 years of a back and forth. You think Jenny's just staying there because she doesn't feel that he loves her? I definitely think he loves her. Some people that are on screen with me love each other, but someone does not want to get married either.
Jason.
He has no choice. It's happening. But I wonder, because this is like similar to when I was in the circus. Like, okay, you have relationships that you develop and that you start, and it's not the real world. So you're not actually living together. You're not actually having different jobs. You're in this little bubble. So I don't want to say they're in a little bubble, but they only know the chaos of traveling back and forth, of keeping in touch, apart. So when you start to actually, if Jenny's actually going to live there for a very long period of time, and all of those problems arise, you're not having that same, I don't know if it's going to be the same relationship. Maybe they, what do you say about us, Adam, that we thrive in chaos, or some crap that you say? But
I need to stop saying that.
When you're not in the chaos anymore, is it still going to work? Because that's how they know how to love each other right now.
Yeah, but also I want to play devil's advocate here, though, because I feel like Jenny I feel like she, in her mind, is like, I have invested a lot of time, a lot of money. I've made myself appear a certain way. I think she's worried about how she's going to look on national television. And it doesn't make it any less toxic. I feel like she's honestly, in her mind, I'm, getting to a certain point in my life. I've invested so much into this, so I'm not backing out now. Like, I'm in it, but that doesn't mean you should stay in it.
Look,
I agree.
Remember, this is a relationship. A lot of relationships broke up during the pandemic. They were in India together, quarantine, lockdown. The only issue they have is getting married. Everything else seems to be great with them, and they're still together.
Okay.
Yeah, her relationship with his parents are great.
Well, look, there are a lot of people that are in loving relationships that, the Real Housewives of Potomac, Wendy and Eddie. I know rumors, if we put the rumors to the side, they're still together despite their family issues. So
yes, that's true.
It happens.
Okay. Happy Girl Fishing, thank you so much for the super sticker, super chat, super sticker. I'll get it one day. All right. With that, guys, I want to say thank you to everybody who is in the live chat, and thank you to all of our mods. If you haven't already, go ahead, smash that like button. I always like to end on a positive way, I need coffee. So before we go, I want to ask everybody in the room, what are we looking forward to most next episode? Kempire, I'll start with you.
Oh, now I need to look a little bit closer at Steven with the V. So I'm still fascinated by his story, but I think I'm a little bit more fascinated about Ellie, because remember, the cliffhanger with Ellie's story is that there's a Category 5 hurricane that's hitting the island of Providencia. So we're not sure what happened. First of all, with the money she's invested in their new home, now that might be all gone because of the hurricane.
Right. Okay. Jason?
Yeah, no, I'm just really curious to see, like Empire said, Steven with a V. I'm just curious to see what he's talking about with some of the stuff that the church might not approve of. I'm really interested in seeing that. Other than that, yeah, Ellie is she's someone that I'm really cheering for. So I really want to see what happens with her. Her story is interesting.
I want to see if Corey and Evelyn ever do make it down the aisle, and I want to see how Ginny transitions into Hare Krishna. I want to see if that's something that she's able to do. Honestly, I do. I'm interested. I want to see if this is something that she's able to do, and if she's willing to do it after we see that she attempts it at one point, but then she's like, I can't keep doing the chant. And I'm like, oh, that's respectful, Jenny. So I'm curious to see how this all plays out. And like you guys said, Steven, because I want to know what the secret is. You can't say there's a secret, but then I slept with somebody before actually getting married, and then there's still a secret. That means there's...
And you haven't told her that until, I get you in Turkey in our separate apartments. That's where it gets me. Now, I have to say...
That's when you want to tell her?
Right. Now, really quickly, I do have to say... I'm surprised to see how open Alina is with everything and learning about, the religion. Not that she has to accept it, although he did mention that, and I don't mean to go back onto this couple, but he did mention that she's preparing for baptism. I didn't get that from her.
Yeah.
So I'm curious. I want to see that conversation as well, and where she is researching the religion as well.
Jason, Allie the mama bear said, Jason, was your bedroom green last night? I thought it was blue.
It was blue.
That depends what mood I'm in.
What mood is green?
I don't know.
Vibrant.
Hungry,
money,
tired.
Oh.
Yeah, money.
Oh. Complete opposite of what I was saying.
All right, Diana said, let's get to 100 angels. I like that. Guys, again, don't forget to smash that like button. We will be talking about, and it's a totally separate network, but that's all right, Real Housewives of Potomac, because this was an interesting episode. It's continuing to grab me, and I feel like the ratings are still there. So we're going to continue to talk about it. 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time if you guys are around. I also posted it in the community tab, so go ahead and do that. Kempire, watch this, guys. Kempire.
Yes.
The monologue.
Guys, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel, Kempire Daily, where you get daily and consistent hot topics in music, entertainment, reality TV, and so much more. And of course, subscribe to my podcast, where you get an unfiltered version of some of your favorite hot topics, Kempire Radio on all podcast platforms.
Wow. Has a ring to it.
I need you to write me a script, like a really clean, just
Well, right now I told you I would give you the banner for the first 5 days, so I still have you in the banner, and then after that I'm going to have to thank you. But Jason, where can we find you?
Well, you can find me at Down with Jason. I would love if you come subscribe. I'm a new channel, and I just love talking to you guys. It's so fun. We do have a lot of really fun videos coming out this week. I'm going to do a really few fun collabs, but it's new, so come support me. I'd appreciate it.
Well, that was so much shorter than Kempire's.
Okay. You guys see the time marks?
All right.
Time marks?
I'm gonna give Kempire a break now. Kempire, do you have anything coming up?
Yes, I have at 1:30 p.m. Eastern. I'm doing a collab with Layla Lynn and great support on the Kempire Daily YouTube channel, recapping last night's episode of The Real Housewives of Potomac. And I'll be back here at 3 p.m. to recap with you guys.
Oh my gosh, you're going to be Potomac'd out. All right, Kempire. Jason, I'll see you in like 2 seconds. Kempire, we'll see you
in 2 seconds. All right.
All right, guys, again, if you haven't already, make sure you go subscribe to Kempire and also Down with Jason if you want to talk or get actually he's probably more of an aggressive opinion on Bravo as opposed to me, where I'm super sweet and humble. So if you're interested, go check it out, and we'll see you at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Bye, guys. Happy Labor Day.